Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I'm back. You're back. We are back for another episode of the Minutes with Milo show, where I talk a lot and hopefully you listen a lot. If you just listen a little bit, that'd be cool. So, if you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. If you're old to the channel, thanks for putting up with me. Like, subscribe, turn the notification bell on. Don't miss an episode. And brother, let me tell you, this is 138. I've been doing it twice a week for over a year. And so, if you watch them all, you really like to hear me talk. Because unfortunately, what it turns out to be. But, if you'd like to join me, send me a message, text, email, voicemail, Facebook, Instagram, X, Reddit, and somewhere in there there's a Snapchat. But I also put let's see if we can do this. I put the telephone number right here so you can let your fingers do the walking and give me a call, and I will try to answer your call and get you on the air. What do you think about them apples? So I'm doing a little, if you see me looking down in here, then I'm doing stuff on the screens because I star in the show, I produce the show, I'm the technology advisor, and it's a one-man show so far. No, I don't want to do that. If I did that, then everything else would crash. I'm talking to my Google Voice. That's where I get that telephone number. Anyway, all right. So I had to turn it on. It was on Do Not Disturb so I could sleep at night. People call me all the time, day and night, itching to be on the show, trying to get me to quit. So tonight's show, like many of my other shows, is just a mistake. It's just well, that's interesting. I never knew that was something before, so let's just look into that. And it all started out with, I did an episode the other night about ley lines. These mystical, magical, magnetic, straight through point lines, historical things are built on them. Anyway. So, talking to Craig, the guy I work with, and he talked about the Nazca, Nazca, Nazca lines. That'd be a cool thing to show, to do a show on. So I started looking at it, thought, well, I'll do that on the show tonight. Excuse me. And I had all good intentions. That's what I was going to do it on. And those are the lines that, we call them lines. They're lines made into pictures that in this desert near Peru, and you can only see them, they say from space, but just from really high up. Because I'll explain here in a minute. So I don't want to get ahead of myself. I don't want to spoil surprises. I got some surprises. So I started doing that, started doing some research, playing around, and lo and behold, I come across this, I don't know how you say it, Diomede, D-I-O-M-E-D-E. islands. Diomede. I'm going to say Diomede. Diomede. And I found it very interesting. I live close to two states. And if you go down State Street in Bristol, you can stand in Tennessee on one side and Virginia on the other side. Now, I'm not talking about you got to jump sidewalks, but I'm talking about if you go out in the middle of the street, there's double yellow lines down State Street. That's what they call it. Right? Double yellow lines on State Street. 1 foot's in Tennessee, 1 foot's in Virginia. So I find it very interesting when two different states, counties, whatever. Counties not so much. States are pretty cool. But what's even cooler than that are countries. Now, I've never been to the border of Mexico or Canada. I've never left the U.S. that I'm aware of, that I remember, that I could tell you about. Otherwise, I have to reach in there and get you and pluck you out. And what is that? The Men in Black do the little pin, zap your brain, make you forget all about it. That's better than killing you. But anyway, another story. So, I find it very interesting when things come so close together. I think it's interesting that we're 90 miles from Cuba. I mean, that's a totally different ideology. We're further away than that. 95 miles, we're further away than that from California. I am. That's a totally other ideology there too. But I think that's interesting. So when I was researching the Nazca lines, I found out that there is a place in this world, in this little section that we live in, that technically we're only 2.5 miles away from another country. America's only 2.5 miles away from Russia. And you say, well, that can't be true. There's a whole ocean, I'm telling you, we're going to look at it. You could almost shoot bottle rockets into Russia from this place. If you've never shot a bottle rocket, okay. Maybe even a potato gun. Maybe. If you stuffed it full of a lot of lighter fluid and struck the match to it. There's Clell. I bet he's a potato gun aficionado. I personally never had a potato gun. I had tennis ball. We shot tennis balls. Same concept. Just, I won't even say it's a little safer. But you could go and buy tennis balls. Tennis balls come 3 in a big old tube. Well, I don't know what they are now because I haven't bought any tennis balls lately. But back in my day, the tubes were metal. So here's what you did. You got you 2 tubes of tennis balls. And the beauty of this is you make your cannon and it comes with its own ammo. So you get 2 of those tubes. You you pop them open. You take the lid off. It's like a Pringles can. Imagine a Pringles can. Pop the top, shake out the tennis balls. Now you've got a semi tube, empty tube, but there's a bottom in it. So you take it, you either punch a bunch of holes in that bottom, or you take it out. We just punched a bunch of holes in it. Then you take the second one, pop it open, pour out the tennis balls. Now, on that one, you don't punch holes in the bottom. You punch you a pretty good sized hole in the side. Now, we always use those triangular can openers. If you don't know what they are, there was a triangle on one end and a round snout on the other. One was for opening bottles, and one of them was for opening like milk. Kinda in a can. Trust me. Or you could open oil cans with it. Anyway, it made a triangular opening. Take one of those, punch a hole in the side of the bottom can. You stick the two cans, the mouth to one and the bottom to the other, and we just wrapped it with duct tape, something to seal it. Stuff the tennis ball in the top one, knock it down to where the bottom is with all those holes in it. Take your can of lighter fluid, fill that second hole in the bottom up with lighter fluid, swish it around a little bit, get it all aerated, light a match and hit it that bottom hole, boom, out comes the tennis ball. Now, tater gun users, I think they used hairspray. My mom got all mad if you wasted her hairspray on shooting tennis balls. But lighter fluid, ho, like, there you go. Alcohol probably do the same thing. It's not as volatile, I don't think. Anyway, don't do it at home, kids. It sends your hair off. See? Butane? That's a rich man's game, Clell. Butane. Get those old Zippo lighter cans. Used to, Zippo lighters were the thing, other than matches, to light cigars, cigarettes, cannon fuses, TNT bombs, all that stuff. Zippo lighter. But you had to open a Zippo lighter and soak the wicking material with the lighter fluid. Right? So, they used to make that stuff in big old cans. Big cans. Have to keep it sealed up or it evaporates. But you could pour lighter fluid on the tabletop and set it afire. It would just kind of glow, and it got the tabletop hot, but it never burned it. Because it's just like alcohol. It just burns the top off. The liquid. Anywho, no butane. Too expensive. Where was I? United States, Russia. Shooting tater guns and stuff into Russia. Bottle rockets. Model rockets. That's what I found interesting. About 2.5 miles apart. I say about because I didn't measure it myself. 2.5 miles apart in this location in the Bering Sea from Alaska, which is United States territory, to Russia. I don't know what part of Russia. Anyway, they're called the Diomede Islands, and one is Big Diomede, and the other one's Little Diomede. Well, I don't know how. The United States come up with Little Diomede. The Russians got the big side. So, we'll look at the history of it. It just blows my mind that this is. So, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to get to the surprise quite yet. But anyway, let me put my spectacles on so I can set this thing up, and we'll look at some of these. Let's see. Well, I take it that you can hear me, right? I mean, I would think you can, or you probably would already said, "Hey, you big doofus. You don't have your mic on again." Ooh, shrink me down. Ooh, man, that made my head hurt. I got so small. All right. Yeah, where are you? There you are. All right. The magic of the internet. Here we go. The island history of Diomede. Little Diomede has been home to a small number of Eskimos for centuries. The island was named by a Russian explorer, Vitus Bering, on St. Diomede's Day, August 16, 1728. The 1880 census. Why were they counting people in 1880? 1880. Well, if you want burnt bacon and beans, I got enough to make 2 batches. If you watch close, I had enough for 2 cans. I got enough bacon. We'll charcoal some more bacon. I have a hard time getting the dogs to eat that for treats. They say, "Do you call this a treat?" I'll lick my own bottom, get a better treat. That's what one of them said. Anyway, In 1880, why are they counting people in 1880 in these daggone tiny islands in Alaska? Anyway, 40 people lived in the island in a village called Inuit. All right, so I'm not going to spoil any surprises by showing you a picture here. Can I open that? Can I open that big? Can I get it? No. All right. I wish I could get that larger. I don't know. We'll look at that here in a second. So, 40 people living on Little Diomede Island. So that it doesn't look like much because I don't think it is much. In fact, this is Alaska Magazine, March 24th, 2021. This little article was written. I'm not going to read that part. Let's read this part. For the people of Little Diomede Island, everything is hitched to the sea ice. Situated in the middle of the Bering Strait where Alaska and Siberia nearly touch, the village of Little Diomede is home to fewer than 100 people. Big Diomede, a mere 2.5 miles to the west, is part of Russia, and the international date line runs between the two. So, for at least 3,000 years, a sturdy and hyper-adapt civilization of, I can't say that, and I'm not going to even butcher it, native people have made their home on this resource-rich, remote, and rocky island in the sea. But ecological change is rapidly affecting life there. Last year, my partner Kim McNett and I waited in Nome to fly out to the remote island to make a documentary film about Little Diomede. So, Nome, ancient hunting grounds, blah, blah. For 8 days in February, we attempted to travel from Nome to Diomede by the only commercially available option, helicopter. For over a week, thick ice fog prohibited air travel, and we were forced to settle for a second attempt in March. When we returned, poor flying conditions confronted us for another 8 days. We even flew halfway out, only to turn back as the fog thickened over the open water in the strait. Blah, 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 blah. Don't tell me. So this is a 1928 picture of men launching a skin boat into the Bering Sea from Diomede. Okay, so this picture is it. I'm thinking this is the whole enchilada. The island is just 2.8 square miles. 2.8 square miles. And I think this is the whole thing. But I don't think there's a dude up here with a mansion. I don't think there's a dude on the other side with a mansion. I think this is the only place on the island. This is the only picture I ever see. I've looked up some other ones. And see this one? Can you see this one here? It looks like you're looking down the side of the hill on the same point. See the same points over here. This looks like cargo containers. You're asking me. But now I'm thinking this dude right here, right there, that's Russia. That's got to be the large Diomede Island. That guy right there. Now, it doesn't look like it's 2.8 miles. I don't know. Maybe that's not the section. Oh, this is an interesting photo here. But I think it is. Let's look at that. No, I don't want to accept none of that junk. Go ahead. I don't care. Oh, they're going to get. They want me to let the bad man in. I ain't gonna let the bad man in. Let's see, here's some stock photos and images. Little Diomede Island, stock photos and images. And all right. See, there's the same houses. Oh, why they're I guess they're on stilts because this part touches land. I'm sorry. See, it's on stilts. This part touches land, and this hangs out over the land. So they have to build them on stilts to even get them flat. That's the whole island right there. That's not Little Diomede. That's the Delta River. That's in Alaska. There's those guys. Surely this guy here is not Diomede. All right, look at this thing here. What, $19? What are you talking about? Okay, so 2.5 miles separate this little island from its bigger brother, which is Russia. All right, so I wondered why that was. And the history of this, I mean, it's not super interesting, I would guess. So Diomede Islands are two small islands in the Bering Strait lying about 2.5 miles apart and separated by the U.S.-Russian boundary, which coincides with international dateline. The larger island, Big Diomede, Russian something something, is an area of 4 square miles. Remember, Little Diomede's only 2.8. All right, and is part of the, I don't know, some district in Russia. Has no permanent population. Why would, I mean, the Little Diomede has a village of less than 100 people, reportedly 40, but I think they live there. Why doesn't this one have it? I don't know. Excuse me, but it is a site of an important Russian weather station. You know, it's really important up there that far north to know what the weather is. To the east lies Little Diomede Island, a part of Alaska inhabited by the Chukchi people who are skilled seafarers. The island's first European visitor was the Danish navigator Vitus Jonas Bering on August 6, 1728. So, I mean, I don't know how it became that. Don't know. So the big one, I guess, is on the right. The little one's on the left. And the international dateline is probably pretty close to the middle of that, I would guess. Because you know, the United States or Russia is not going to give up. Oh, yeah, let me have a little bit more. Let me have a little bit more. No, 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 no. We're going to take equal amounts right down the middle. But look at that. I mean, that's not much to look at, right? Let's look at this picture. We'll zoom in on this. So right there. Right there. We're zooming in. We can't zoom in no more. That little dot with the little dot under it. That's the two things in question. Now, how did I get this? I told you there's going to be a little bit of surprise. And there is. Let me do something real quick. Let me take that away for just a minute. I'm going to do this in the secrecy of my own home. All right. No. Let's go. Where we're going to go? I have done this before, and I'll tell you again, I love it. I love this. So let me scoot this over here so you all can see it. All right. And if you've watched one of these shows before, a long time ago, I don't remember which one it was, I used this, and I still like it today. Why? Because I just find it fascinating. So this is Google Earth Pro. Now, I'm no pro. That's just what they call it. So here we are, Google Earth Pro. And I picked Orlando, Florida. Why? Because I didn't think of putting in Miami. Okay? Anyway, so we're about as far east, southeast as we could get from the Diomede Islands. And look at that. We fly around, halfway around the world, and bam! Look at that. There we are. I just find that so, oh, wow. Look what happened to my picture. Okay, straighten out just a little bit. There we go. That's better. And there it is. Now, and I said this before when I was using it. So the gray, light gray area here, can you see? Oh, my stuff ain't showing up on the screen over here. I don't know. Anyway, the one on the left is the dry land of the big Diomede Island. The one on the right is the little dry land of the little Diomede Island. It's labeled. I know y'all can read. But what's cool is the darker blue surrounding those two things is the land that's under the water. I find that very fascinating. Then you go out further from that, and guess what? That's the deeper ocean that they don't show land under. So I don't know how deep it is. I have no idea. But I think that's really cool that it's just two peaks of this underwater mountain that just happened to be poking above the. There's Robert snuck in on me when I was messing around with the girl who Google Earth Pro. Hey, Robert. Welcome to the party, says Cleo. Thanks, says Robert. You guys are just so nice. Anyway, I just like Google Earth Pro or Google Earth. It's pretty cool. But this is really wild. And you can't see it on the screen. Let me do this. See this little dot? I don't know what that is, but it is a small circle. It looks like it's underwater. But if you look real close, you look itty bitty close, there's just a tiny speck of dry land above the ocean level, water level. Isn't that not wild? Wouldn't you like to go there and just stay the rest of your life, right? No. Heck no. Are you kidding me? There's only 40 crazy people or so that live on this little Diomede Island. So this doesn't show it, but somewhere along here is the international date line. I don't think it. So it says borders and labels, photos, roads, buildings, weather gallery. I've got the layers checked, but it just doesn't show it where it is. So I don't know how far it is. Well, I've got that blocked up. That's a bad thing. Guam. Yeah. No, this is the little Diomede Island. Is that what you're asking? Here's Russia I'm sorry. Here's the United States on the right, and Russia's on the left. That's Russia. There's Alaska, part of Alaska. Bering Land Bridge National Preserve. So we'll zoom out here. Now you can tell, like I talked about before, there's underwater mountain around those islands. Then it turns light blue. If you zoom out far enough, down here you can see where the light blue drops off into this ocean. And you see that little, I guess it's a little tail, like that goes from Alaska. Now it's underwater over to Russia. I think that's where they talk about people being able to walk back in the prehistoric days, the land bridge over the Bering Sea. That used to be all a dry ground. It used to be dry ground, and you could walk across. But it's not too far from reality that if the way back when, it would almost be easier to walk between those 2 points right there where the Little Diomede Islands are. I don't know. So this was, and I'm going to do this, minimize that back down. Okay, so this little tail section right here in that bigger picture, it won't stay up there. Get, oh my gosh. Okay, let's just get away from that. I looked up the weather at Little Diomede. Summer temperatures average 40 to 50 degrees. That's summertime. Winter, -10 to 6. Now, keeping in perspective what -10 would be like and 6. You can't tell me when it hits 40 or 50 degrees on that island that people aren't running around in shorts. Because they're used to -10 and 6 degree temperatures. What are they using to heat these little shanty shacks? I mean, my gosh. There's nothing on that island but rocks. What did they use to heat that from in -10 degree weather? Unbelievable. So I guarantee you when it hits 50 degrees, them people are shucking off those whale skin suits and they're probably swimming in the daggone ocean. But it's all relative. What they're getting used to, what they're used to being warm and cold. Did somebody try to call? Let's see when that was. No, it said the last call. My telephone number. Apparently I didn't listen to the voicemail. I think maybe Clell sent. Am I sidetracked? I am. I'm a little sidetracked. One voicemail. Nope. Okay. Never mind. That's back in January. I got to listen to that. Might be important about Medicare Part A or B, They drag in logs and coal. Coal's found everywhere on the beaches around there. You reckon? Huh. There's wood on the beaches and rivers. It's only 2.8 miles, this island's only 2.8 square miles in size. I don't think there's too many beaches. I mean, there's a lot of beach, right? There is a lot of beach, but I don't think there's like any wood. That's why they're so rich in oils and minerals. But not on this little island, man. They'd have to import, just like everything, they'd have to import that, wouldn't it? Okay, driftwood then. But could you imagine? -10 to 6 in the winter months. And I did, let's see, where was that? I found that. 10-day weather forecast. 13 degrees in a Nome station. That's not even on the island. They're having mostly sunny. -11 to -15. Can you see that, boys and girls? Holy bejeebies. Tuesday, partly cloudy, windy. I can't imagine. I just can't imagine. Let's see. High around -10. Mostly cloudy tomorrow night, Tuesday. Lows -15. Dude, and dudettes. Let's see what we got. The astrology. Length of visible light is 11 hours and 20 minutes. Length of the day is 9 hours and 36 minutes. Which, I guess that's not too bad. Tomorrow will be 7 minutes and 7 seconds longer. So they're like everybody else. They're getting into the, the longer days. Actual time, sunrise is 9:41. The sun doesn't come up till 9:41, and it sets at 7:18. I don't know what civil twilight and nautical twilight are. Astronomical twilight. We looked at that before when we were talking about how long the days and stuff are. Man, I just couldn't imagine being that cold. Nothing like some tasty whale blubber on a frosty -40 winter morning. Yeah, where do you keep that thing warm? Where do you have to put it to keep the whale blubber warm? Dig a hole in the ground? Something? Get down below the frost line, you have to dig like 6 feet or something, wouldn't you? That's crazy. Crazy, man. Crazy. So, I got sidetracked when I was looking at these Natchatchee lines and found this. I didn't know this was a thing. And, this picture here makes it look like it's fairly warm. That's a crisp, probably 10 degrees. Maybe springtime is 10 degrees. Oh, no. Where is this dude? There it is. There it is again. It's just nutsy cuckoo. That's where it is. It's kind of like the neighbor sitting at the fence. Now, so Russia on Big Diomede Island, they used to have a military base there. Now it's an important weather station. So, but apparently nobody lives there permanent. I'm sure they shuttle people in and out all the time. I dare say it's never empty. Never empty. So, even though they're not permanent residents, like on the Little Diomede Island, I guarantee it's never empty. Why wouldn't it? Oh, I know what it was. It was something else. So I read this too. Nope. Where did it go? If you could walk, can you walk from the U.S. to Russia? All right. The two islands are separated by about 2.5 miles of water. However, the frozen winter months provide enough solid ice that it's possible to walk the distance. While today extensive permitting would be necessary to traverse the international border. In years past, people sometimes made the crossing by foot. So you get to the big island of Diomede, but how far is Big Island Diomede from Russia? I mean, you get to an island. Big, B-I-G, Diomede. Well, that's showing a wrong picture. Russia's just right there. Mainland Russia. First island is called Big Diomede, which is 25 miles off the coast of Russia. And the second island is called Little Diomede, which is about 16 miles off the coast of Alaska. These islands are only 2.5 miles apart. All right, so 16, 2.5, that makes it 18.5, and 25. So let's say 52 miles between the tip of Alaska to the tip of Russia. So you wouldn't want to technically walk from Alaska to what I would consider. You wouldn't want to walk from mainland Alaska to mainland Russia in minus, 10 to 40 degrees below zero for 50 some miles. You just wouldn't want to do that. Even if you could, what crazy person would want to? I don't even know if you could get a sled dogs to run in that kind of weather. It seems like their little lungs would just freeze, huffing and puffing and panting, trying to get you across through there and die. I don't know. Still crazy to think. Let's see if this will zoom in enough to where we can see the international date line between those two. Nope, I lost it. When I had it zoomed out there, you could see the international date line. Where'd it go? There it is. Look at that. Why do you think it jags around like that? Why didn't they just make this stuff just pretty much a straight line? Too much current and such cold water temperatures. Well, they said it froze, that you could make it, and one of the things I said, it was thin in places, and people have drowned from attempting it. Well, I don't understand why you'd even attempt it. All right. So just to give you an idea, let's do, what do I call those things? NAZCA lines. Just to show you how far off track I got when I was looking for these things. We're going to fly. Oh my gosh. Boom. Nazca lines. Now, these lines that you see here are not what I was looking for. These are all dried riverbeds. You got to zoom out. And this is why I was kind of disappointed in them. So, okay. So here, just a sneak preview, the cat. Now see how close I got to get in here? We're almost street level to see the cat. Now, all right, let me do this. I'm going to circle around here a little bit. Circle on around a little more. Okay, there's the cat. See the cat right there where the blue dot is? Your screen's a little bit different than mine. Let me zoom in. Okay, there's kitty cat. That's kitty cat. All right. So maybe another time we'll show. I can't remember how many Craig said there was several of those little guys uh, that are visible from high altitude. They're visible from high altitude, not necessarily space per se. What was cool, I didn't show you that. Google Earth will tell you how high the point is that you're looking at, and then how high in the air you are looking at it. So if it's 2,500 feet above sea level, and you're 25,000 feet above that, it tells you how far you got to be up to see, what your perspective is. Yep, visible from altitude. So I originally started this quest out on what's visible from space, because I thought, that'd be cool. What's visible from space? So then, you got to define what space is. Lots of things are visible from the International Space Station, but not visible from the moon. So, and why would I bring that up? Aliens, of course, aliens. Okay, because why would you draw a picture on the cat on the desert floor when you can only see it from where, people coming in, making a landing or flying low reconnaissance over the earth would be able to see it and go, hey man, look, those cats drew a cat for us. That's cool. Aliens. It's the only explanation. Sorry. When they were built, they didn't have balloons. Maybe they did have ancient alien technology that they could, get into the air in balloons or traverse the skies. But those lines, maybe we'll look at it on one of the other shows. Like I said, I started researching it, got sidetracked, and here's where we ended up. 2.5 miles away from technical Russia soil. So that's the way my mind works sometimes. I can't keep it on track. A lot of times I can't. But anyway, if you made it this far, Robert, I'm sorry you tuned in late, man. You missed all the good conversations. We didn't have any. Me and Clell didn't have any. But somewhere you missed some really good conversations. Anyway, I appreciate you two guys showing up. Appreciate anybody that's watched this. Robert, did you look at my, what do I call that? Baconed beans video? If you haven't seen it, watch it after this. Clell apparently watched it. And I'm going to I probably won't videotape the second batch. I'm going to fine tune my mistakes. And they were good. I don't care if they were, I got rid of most of the burnt charred bacon, like charcoal bacon. And the beans were a little thick because I overcooked them too, but they were good. It was good. It really was. I think, and I mispronounced that subscriber's name. I don't know, man. I didn't have my glasses on, so I messed that up. And let's see, where is it? I'm going to try to get it right. It was Charlie's Gunman or Gruma, something like that. I don't know. I was reading it, trying to read it without glasses. Let me get over here. Let's go there. Channel. Turn that on. Da 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 da. Where did it go? Charlie's Gruma. Grumma is what it was. I messed that up. Charlie's Gruma was the viewer that sent in the recipe. And I took it and slammed it into the ground and stomped on it with my bare toes. But it was good. It was good. Anyway, like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your lovers, tell your possums, anybody, everybody that can jump online and watch YouTube. And my subscribers have ticked up a few. That's really good. I've got some more comments. That's excellent. Appreciate all the people doing that. And so until Thursday, I got a week full of Mondays coming up. Every day is a new Monday. Full of opportunities. Just remember that. Full of opportunities. So, all right, keep your head above water. What do they say? Rubber side down, between the white lines, yellow lines. I don't know. All that kind of stuff. Be safe, be happy, be annoying. Don't be annoying. Don't be this guy. Be your own guy. All right, see you later. Bye. Yes, I'm sure I want to stop stringing.